In 33 minutes, I have to quickly head down for laundry, but yeah, that's all good and dandy. Ow, that. Ooh. Henry, what do you think about, using a bunch of children as D classes? Give me your honest opinion. I absolutely agree, Henry. I absolutely agree. Henry B. spittin'. Well, let's hope the next SCP doesn't involve, involving a whole bunch of children that just happen to become an SCP in the becoming D classes with American Idols. Although, knowing American Idol, the show, where a bunch of people get their heart broken and some people find success, this might be risky. This might be a risky dive. Let's see what we have here. A short one, eh? Keto, okay. Okay, we're going directly to the big boys. Mobile Task Force, is it Chi or Chi 23 eavesdroppers is to actively monitor spontaneous or organization public gatherings of over 1,000 individuals in any of the countries composing to the former USSR for the presence of SCP-1681. Upon detection, operatives are to retrieve individuals suspected of having been exposed to SCP-1681 and are to administer amnestics to unaffected individuals within a 50-meter radius. New -1 specimens are to be kept in full quarantine at the Humanoid Containment Site 83 until such a time as a Berliner event is triggered. A Berliner event. Okay, well, or Berliner, because Berlin instead of Berlin. Should a Berliner event be initiated in public, cleanup crews from nearby field officers to initiate post-event cleanup procedures as further documented in supplemental document SCP-16, document 1681/proc /post inc ref 1.9 use of amnestics has been approved. SCP-1681 has been cleared to research in printed and digital form as only direct auditory exposure has produced adverse effects. Please be advised that due to the length of the transition between alpha and beta stage infection, and due to improvement of relations between the US and Russia, the Berliner events are theoretically no longer limited to those countries formerly belonging to the USSR. Okay, here we go. Let's see what the hell is happening here. SCP-1681 is an auditory mimetic agent exclusively affecting human beings. You know how hard it is to do auditory SCPs thumbnail-wise? I mean, of course you can always show what the effect it does, but sometimes it's very hard to show sound on a still image. SCP-1681 is spread specifically through public gatherings attended by over 1,000 individuals in countries belonging to the former USSR and is capable of spontaneous outbreaks despite Joint Foundation and Global Occult Coalition, which I believe I looked into before. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah. Global Occult Coalition efforts to eradicate it outside of containment. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Documentation seized from GRU Division P. What is this? Oh yeah, I think I must have read this a while back. Yeah, must have. Archives after its dissolution shows that SCP-1681 was developed by the organization in an effort to influence and control public opinion on the United States. SCP-1681 was first deployed on the 10th, 21st, 1982 and far exceeded projected infectivity. An auditory mimetic countermeasure to SCP-1681 is mentioned in this documentation, but does not appear to be effective. It is unknown whether this is because of flawed design or due to SCP-1681 evolving. SCP-1681 the form of a phrase. After all, when actors lead nations, bears will roar. Appended to the end of an anecdote told by individuals, designated -1, in alpha stage of infection. These anecdotes themselves are not anomalous and do not show a pattern to their subject matter. Regardless of their content, host anecdotes eventually begin to lose coherency, incorporating references to the United States and corresponding symbolism. Before terminating in SCP-1681, exposure to SCP-1681 always results in an alpha stage of infection. Listeners are fully aware of the discordance in -1 speech, but attempts to point it out to them results in -1 becoming confused and briefly distracted before trying to return to the story. Okay. And approximately 48% of -1 move on to the beta stage of infection, while the remainder stay in alpha stage indefinitely, spreading SCP-1681. Of course they do. Alpha stage -1 specimens will attend any eligible event to spread SCP-1681, disregarding relative financial expense, travel distance, or prior commitments. Those -1 transitioning to beta stage infection will withdraw from society, severing all ties to family, loved ones, and associates. Oh. During this time, -1 will lapse into prolonged catatonic states, interspersed with brief periods of lucidity. Communication has proven difficult, with attempts at conversation derailed by bouts of euphoric hysteria. Specimens in this transitionary stage appear to suffer from mixed aphasia. Despite this, the onset of starvation does not occur. This transitory stage lasts for approximately 3 to 6 days, after which -1 will have fully progressed into beta stage. It would then attempt to gain access to the roof of the nearest high-rise building and throw itself off. We have... Upon impact, Berliner event is initiated. Oh, great. Their body is the wall balloon. And the floor is the trigger. Specimens detained before progressing fully into the beta stage will exhibit increasingly restless behavior until a Berliner event spontaneously occurs. In a Berliner event, N-1 specimen splits into multiple instances of a specific object or animal. Footnote says, examples observed including a 1 to 300 scale Statue of the Liberty models, mucous, muscular specimen with abnormally large ears, and McDonald's Big Mac burgers. Okay. -1 specimen split into multiple instances of specific object or animal, which disperse at speeds of up to 500 meters per second, depending on the size, shape, and mass of the item or animal expelled. The mass and volume of material dispersed does not correspond to that of -1 instance. -1 instance triggered the Berliner event, and no traces of -1 are recovered post-event. Material producing during Berliner events does not exhibit anomalous properties. However, the high kinetic energy of such projectiles and occasional presence of mundane contaminants may pose a significant hazard to the public at large. This reminds me of the Vine and TikTok videos of when people like pretend to fall over, but before they fall on a floor or table or anything, like it's a very smooth edit where like the body becomes like a fruit or like a coconut or something like that. Like they would like fall over and then like the head was like crash onto the table, but by the moment the head touches the table, they become like a watermelon. So I imagine like that, right? Except that it flies way further. Addendum 1681/A/1 Management Summary of Incident Report 1681/INC/Rep/19820411-2 Rev 1.19. At 14 hours on Sunday, the 10th of April 1983, on N-1 instance climbed the bell tower of the Rostov-on-Don Central Cathedral and jumped off. Upon impact, it exploded in a shower of live bald eagles. Helietis leucophilus. 17 civilians perished, 13 more were hospitalized with injuries stemming from severe blunt force trauma, in at least one case from involuntary ingestion of involuntary ingestion of Haliatus lacophilis. Never heard of that trend, but that sounds pretty cool. Imagine going to the church and end up swallowing an entire fucking live bald eagle. I'd probably lose my faith. If I went to church and I saw a human being about to commit suicide by jumping off the church building, and it transforms into something else besides a bloody mess, I think my faith would be increased, but I'd also be highly confused. I'd be like, oh my god, it's a magic miracle. But at the same time, I'm like, but why bald eagles? how did this, like, how? Like, at least there's no blood, but I'm very confused why he transformed into specifically that. Is it because we're in America? What if we try this outside the US? You see people just, and then that's when like people start like jumping off of buildings because they think they can do the same thing, even though they're not, you know, infected yet with SCP-1681, which would be problematic. That's probably the reason why it's also key though, because like multiple people can witness it, and some people will definitely have like either A, massive trauma from it, or B, have a lot. Hey, at least you have a thumbnail idea now. I do. yeah. Like all I gotta do is have a body fall from a great height, and then half the body is like transformed, the other half is still falling, and just have a whole bunch of bald eagles come out. Future me, keep that in mind.